Hi, I'm Mike DesRoches. I'm a Senior Sales Support Engineer for Sony Electronics. And at NAB 2013 right now, I'm actually going to walk you through the FS700 camera and show you many of the things that make it such a special camera. For me, as a 5-in-1 camera tool, it provides a little bit of everything for everybody. Not only is it a 4K sensor to start with and a super 35mm imager, but it can also do high speed, and that, for many, is its take-home. Worth the price of admission alone, the high-speed components give you 120 frames a second and 240 frames a second in full high-definition resolution, 1920 by 1080 progressive video. But it also allows you a roadmap, very inexpensively, all the way out to 4K recording using the exact same R5 recorder that's utilized in our F5 and F55 products. But that's not it. You can shoot stills with this camera. You can do overcrank and undercrank, and therefore use it as a quasi-steady cam. In conjunction with the steady cam mode, or steady shot mode if you will, it basically does an active, or it does a carve out of the frame and gives you what's most balanced. And therefore, if you're running on a monopod, you do a quick pass through when you play it at 60 playback, it's playing back half speed. Now you're like, wow, the guy had a Steadicam rig for that, or that lady was shooting on a Steadicam rig. That's beautiful. Well, that's all running handheld or on a monopod with this camera. The camera itself, including the body, an 11-hour recorder, and the optional lens, you're looking at under $10,000 for 5 tools in one body that you can run around portably, run around a backpack. Everywhere I go, I literally take this guy with me just to shoot stuff on the odd chance it's something I might be able to talk about, to expose what this camera can do. One of the greatest things about it is that you're not limited in lens choices. It's an E-mount camera, and therefore you can leverage the E-mount solutions that exist in our consumer lineup of cameras and lenses. You also have the ability to put an adapter for virtually every lens that exists in the market, whether it be MTF or Metabones, and therefore you want to go to, say, Canon glass, or you want to use, maybe your dad handed down his 40-year-old collection of Nikkor glass. Well, you can use that with this. There are adapters for that. The power of this is the processing of the camera and the flexibility that you're working with. So let's talk about what you can also do. Practically, you can customize a button over here, the S&Q button. It's really handy as a feature in the sense that, all right, let's say I'm covering a wedding event and I want to shoot regular video. Shallow depth of field with a super 35mm sensor, really nice sharp glass, lock down my focus, great. Do some interviews, get everybody excited about what's coming up later in the day. Now I go down to the actual facility where the wedding's going to occur. I can be recording that with great audio, 2 XLR inputs to this camera body. I can push a button and it says, okay, now I'm going to go into an overcrank up to 60 frames. I can get a 2x slow-mo that I can record continuously in more than 15 minutes, but also to an onboard flash memory recorder as an option that can record literally for 11 hours if I want. But I can get video of the flower girl walking down and throwing petals on the floor, and then boom, go right back into a regular video mode. Or if I want to go into a high-speed mode, I hit that button again, I can go into high-speed and dial in quickly, 120, 240, 480, and 960 frames a second to get very high-speed, slow-motion effects of people walking in on the carpet towards the altar or wherever. It's something that makes so much sense in sporting applications because there's nothing to process. You're laying down your high-speed content directly to the media, whether it be a flash memory unit or to an SD card or a memory stick. You can actually record, if you're doing regular video, you can record the flash memory unit and the SD card simultaneously, and therefore you have a built-in backup of your AVC HD recordings. Or if you're shooting high speed, it's one or the other. The nice thing is that the flexibility is optimum with this. The visual quality, since you're taking a 4K sample and resolving that down to HD resolution in a single sensor, you know that your chroma and your luminance is going to be beautiful. You have all that information to take down to that great video signal, and even at 120 and 240, your colors are going to match at the same way that they're looking when you shoot regular video. So the camera actually intercuts with itself, which is huge because many of you may know that as great as most high-speed cameras are, colorimetry is not necessarily their forte. Well, you have the colorimetry in the camera body, but also when you're shooting in high speed. The 4K component of it is huge because shipping soon, we'll be able to provide an external recorder, again, the same one that's used with the F5 and the F55. It's the R5 recorder, but we'll have a docking station where you're taking the 3 gigabit HD SDI output and recording directly that in the same 16-bit raw recording that you can do for the 5 and the 55 cameras. You also have the ability to come out HDMI. You also have the ability to connect to the camera USB and transfer files. one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is the fact that you're recording AVC HD recording internally is that those same file formats are shared across all the Sony NEX or consumer lineups where you can take that card out, pop it right into your consumer camera, the Sony, and play those files out. What you can also do, and I like this as a great solution because I use it at home, you can take those files, copy it right over to your PlayStation 3 or your gaming console, which I never use as a gaming console. I'll stream stuff, but it's primarily for me a media server. I have friends that are coming over that want to see stuff I've shot with this. With my wireless PlayStation controller, I can queue that up, which is organized by date. Go into a thumbnail mode, I can see them playing out in their thumbnails, but in a $350 unit roughly for a PlayStation console, I can decode these files and feed it HDMI into any set in the house. What else do you need? Rather than spending thousands of dollars on a laptop to chew out those numbers and crunch it down, it's a beautiful thing. So the FS700 can get you into low-level production all the way up to high-end sports, and utilizing its generic interfaces like SDI and HDMI, you can now say, all right, maybe I want to go to a low-cost instant replay solution. So I could be carrying this around on a monopod, cover a sporting event. I can do a start trigger and buffer down my high-speed recording, and then record it, and I can hit a last scene recall, which I can customize, and it'll immediately play that file out SDI, and maybe I have a wireless back like a Live View or a TVU backpack that's wirelessly sending content to the control room, which is going right up to the board. I can do that in roughly a $30,000 solution between the camera, the lens, the recorder, and that wireless pack. That's unbelievable. And it gets better because this is something that everybody can own and use it as a scouting location to take snapshots, pop it right back into video mode, and I can say, let's do some stand-ups, some interviews, go into a high-speed mode now and use it as that high-speed specialty camera. Or at the very least, if you need a faster frame rate, then use it for blocking out your high-speed action. And then maybe don't rent the high-speed, the more expensive camera for 5 days, you rent it for 3 days and use this to block it out. You do that a couple times, you've saved enough money to buy this camera outright and use it for all those other applications. So that's the FS700 in a somewhat a large nutshell. If you have any other questions about this, feel free to look at sony.com/professional on our website for more details, or do a Google search on the FS700. There's copious amounts of content all over the web to see the beauty of what this camera can do and how flexible it is at well under $10,000 for a body, a lens on the kit that has autofocus and great lens flexibility in terms of its focal length, and an 11-hour recorder that, again, you can take right into a PlayStation 3 and play that content out, or go into any consumer Sony camera and play those files out as well. So that's the FS700 in a nutshell. Thank you for your time. I hope this was helpful for you. Enjoy the rest of the show, and if it's past the show and you're watching this, then enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you out in the field.